Hello, hello. Welcome back to Let's Talk Entertainment News. Can you believe that Stuart Gordon's Reanimator is turning 40 years old? Well, it is, and it's getting a theatrical release, it's getting a 4K release. So we're going to talk about that in just a moment, tell you where you can see the movie. But before we do, just a quick reminder, as we do at the beginning of all of our videos, we ask you to be kind if you choose to join the comment section. But of course, you should also keep watching this video right through to the end because we like your watch time. I tend to get better as the minutes roll by, so give me a chance. Don't click away after 40 seconds. So here we go. Yes, Cat Dead. Details later. This year marks the 40th anniversary of Stuart Gordon's horror classic Reanimator, and the brand new 4K restoration is coming to theaters for Halloween. Perfect timing for horror, perfect timing for Lovecraft, for which this story is, of course, adapted from, but not very well. It's not a great Lovecraft adaptation, but it is a good Stuart Gordon film. Gizmodo has announced this afternoon that American Genre Film Archive and Mutant are joining forces to bring the new 4K restoration of Reanimator from Ignite Film and Eagle Rock Pictures to the big screen in select locations beginning in September. Here's the current list of dates and locations shared by Gizmodo today, and you can probably try to pause the screen, or you can go to the description and I'll leave a link to this news story so you can find all the dates for yourself. The closest one to me that I see, that I notice off the first glance, is out by Pittsburgh, I believe. Yeah, did I see Pittsburgh on here? I thought I saw Pittsburgh on here, but Pittsburgh is like 5 hours away, despite the fact that I'm in Pennsylvania, so it's unlikely that I'm going to get to see this movie in theaters. But I am a fan of the story. One of the better, more famous, longest lasting H.P. Lovecraft stories. You can, of course, read my review of that story from many years ago here in the archives of Let's Talk Entertainment. The 4K restoration by Ignite and Eagle Rock Pictures is also available for home entertainment at the Ignite Films website, where it will be exclusively available through this year. Director Stuart Gordon's Reanimator shocked audiences with its blend of grotesque horror and dark humor and became an instant cult classic upon its release in 1985. The classic horror film follows Herbert West, a brilliant young and unhinged medical student who creates a serum that reanimates the dead with horrifying consequences. Jeffrey Combs, Bruce Abbott, Margaret Crampton, David Gale, and Robert Simpson star. I'm excited about the 40th anniversary 4K UHD Blu-ray release of Reanimator. It looks great, especially if you have a big screen. An excellent restoration. It is like seeing it for the first time again. Stuart Gordon would be super happy, or would have been super proud, and so happy that Reanimator is still connecting with horror audiences, and that its restoration is reanimating the movie in all its glorious madness, just as Herbert West intended, exclaimed Brian Usna, producer. And there is a poster here, which I'll show you in another minute. But yeah, and click over to the other screen here and you can see the poster up here. No, over here. There it is. As I was saying, not a great movie really, but it's a good Stuart Gordon movie. As they were saying, the sort of a blend of the grotesque and the dark humor all sort of works. Horror and comedy are always sort of related, and they have certain asks that they demand of you to enjoy them. So I find that it works, and it's all a little bit silly, but it's all in good fun. But yeah, glad to see this little jewel of horror nostalgia finding its way back into theaters where everything deserves to be seen. Everything is bigger on the big screen. I wish that more of these streaming services would learn that. Why would you spend $200 million on a movie only to stream it? It makes no sense whatsoever. Even if it's not a great movie, it looks and sounds a bit better on the big screen. And being present in a theater, I always say, adds a bit of prestige to it, and it drums up demand for the movie when it does finally come to home video. So yeah, there you have it. What do you think? Are you excited to see Reanimator on the big screen and possibly in 4K at home? Let us know in the comment section. But until next time, keep it creepy. Hello, hello. I see that you've stuck around. Thank you. Yeah, wanted to do another after show. I introduced the show just a couple of days ago, and today I intended to do something, just maybe very briefly give you some backstory on myself, some backstory on this channel, how it all came to be, how after knowing each other for like 25 years, a couple of bums from the internet, from the dark ages back in the message boards days, ended up running this here YouTube channel. But I decided to shift focus for today to talk about something a little bit different. And I I swear it does have a entertainment connection, which I'll get to at the end of the story, if you're still watching at that point. But the story begins that we've had a number of plumbing issues around the house here recently. A couple weeks back, got a notice the water company was digging up lines between the curb and the houses, and they were tearing up lawns, tearing up sidewalks, replacing old lead piping, which is a good thing, and then also coming indoors and doing a new meter. And what happens is when you do things like this and you have water turned off and on in these old houses and you put in new devices and stuff, it tends to spring leaks. And so we woke up yesterday morning, which was what happened was bad enough, but it happened at a really bad time because we just spent the previous 2 days out in the backyard ripping up our old fence, cutting up into smaller pieces to stack it into a dumpster. We also knocked down a large shed, cut that up as well. So we'd been out in the heat, working pretty hard for the last couple of days, feeling pretty sore. We were looking forward to a long night of rest. But lo and behold, 5 a.m. I wake up yesterday morning. I hear something running in the bathroom upstairs, just outside of my bedroom, but I don't see any water. So it quickly became clear to me that we had a leak in the wall, which would mean it would be going down through the ceiling into the dining room below. The dining room floor had just been replaced along with the entire kitchen in the adjoining rooms. We have brand new floors down there in this old house, but we're sort of proud of the progress that we've made recently to make it a little bit better. But yeah, so we had like an inch of water, hot water, because it was the hot water line streaming into this room. And it was sort of devastating. We were already just pretty tired, looking forward to sort of relaxing for the day, not doing much of anything. Instead, we found ourselves on our hands or knees, picking up pieces of fallen ceiling, sucking up inches of water with a shop vac, shoveling stuff up, getting it out. The only good saving grace is that we did have a dumpster still here on the property because we were using it to do this other work. So that was a bit of a good thing. It came out of this whole bit of nonsense. But when I came downstairs and I saw this mess, I very nearly got out my camera and started rolling. And there was a time in my life when I would have done that. Several years ago when this channel was still new, we went through a lot of different permutations. And one of the things that I did for a couple of years is I did shorts vlogs, not very good vlogs, but they were vlogs nonetheless. And I often did them sometime for my running life as a trail runner, but also very often I would do videos when I was at work. I tend to work alone for much of my last decade. So I spent a lot of time, painting buildings, doing patch and paint, doing basic maintenance, yard work, a whole bunch of stuff like that. And so there was a time when I would share that type of stuff with you. I'd go into a place, a rental that was trashed, and to show you how disgusting it is. And of course, those were the videos that were the most popular. But it got me thinking. First of all, I thought that I could film this, but then no one's going to watch it anyway because it's becoming increasingly harder for us to get views around here, I found. And it no longer fits the theme of this channel. But it got me thinking about how I've been a little bit frustrated off and on in recent years watching people who have large audiences, how easy it is for them to make money. And what I mean by that is that yes, they make money with their talents and the good things in their life, but if something tragic happens or something bad happens, something misfortune happens, even if it's by their own mistake, that it's so easy for them to make money off of that and to make success off of that and to build more audience off of that. And I found that very, very frustrating. I have a favorite channel. It's in the automotive workspace or space, and the one guy, and I believe this is 100% legit. I don't believe it was intentional, but he'll do things where they'll start up one of their cars, they'll go out and do a burnout, and it stops working, and it's oh, we forgot to put any transmission fluid in our $4,000 transmission. And it's a $4,000 loss for me or you would be crushing, not easily recovered. But, that video is going to make more than $4,000 just on ad revenue alone, getting millions of views. So it's one of the ways in which the modern world and sort of the social media era, especially in the YouTube era, frustrates me, and how and how easy it can be for some people to succeed and to recoup losses. And so what happens is it's like even genuine mistakes and fuck ups, they must have no actual gravity anymore for these people, unless it descends to the point of lost life, injury, legal troubles in which you might actually do time. Unless it descends to that level, it's like every dumb thing you do, every mistake you have, every misfortune, whether it's intentional or not or accidental, becomes a source of profit. And that's really weird and it's really unnerving. And I think that, of course, you do have these legitimate moments when people profit from their own misfortune. Good for them, I guess. But then you also have the people who figured out long ago, this is sort of like Jackass kind of that type of thing where it's like you do stunts and pranks and shit like that and you get hurt, but you know that you set it up to fail because the failure, the pain, the perceived misery is going to get more views, more profit, more audience, and then it snowballs and it just keeps growing and it becomes probably more and more fake once you realize that you can capitalize on it. But here I am thinking that my last several days have been pretty unnerving, sort of nerves brittle at wit's end, tired, exhausted, worried about money and this things and that. And it's like until a few months ago or till last month when we got demonetized, this video that I'm doing right now would have made 5 cents. Now it's making no sense. So it's like even that small source of profit for me was taken away because YouTube sort of has decided to change some of its terms of service and criteria for the partner program. And so it's like, I think that we live in a world where you see a lot of people on on television and the news, politicians, and they like to point blame at people and call people lazy and sort of they talk about merit and like they sort of convince themselves that if you're failing, you deserve it. But it's like, no, it's just not that way. It's because you actually live in a state of existence where your misdeeds seem to have smaller consequences than they do for the rest of us. So that's what I was thinking. How is it that we've come to a point in this world where so many people get to make money even off of their own misfortunes? And sort of adjunct to this, I think of even in the podcasting realm, look how many washed up, canceled former stars there are who even decades afterwards, their name, which is little known but greatly known compared to yours or mine, they can set up a podcast and find hundreds of thousands of viewers and sponsors in an instant. And it's like people keep telling me, work harder. You'll succeed if you work hard and you deserve it. But it's like I just don't think that we live in a world anymore where that is necessarily quite as true as it should be. It's the way it should be. But also a lack of merit is not necessarily, it shouldn't be an excuse for our betters to sort of hold us down by convincing themselves that, we don't deserve to ever have better. Everybody deserves better. So there you have it, making money from your own misfortune. I'm not making any, but plenty of people are. And I wish I'd made some money off of my misfortune this week because it has been a rough one, but there you have it. Thank you for tuning in. I'm pretty sure you're not watching. Nobody watches my videos past like a minute and a half, no matter what we try. But oh well, I'm gonna keep doing them because I like doing them, and maybe someday I'll get better at them. Actually, I have gotten better a little bit. Thank you, and I'll see you again soon.